time that happened, you've also posted private text messages with TLC and with Eli.
Yeah.
That violates your confidentiality.
No, my text messages are not in the confidentiality clause. Nothing to do with the show, with how I've been treated.
No, but you're revealing information about the payment schedule, about what the episodes have been delivered. That's not public knowledge.
Hey besties, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. There has been a lot of chatter online about the new season of Welcome to Plathville, specifically because Ethan Plath's ex-wife Olivia and Micah Plath's ex-girlfriend Veronica have been speaking out about their experiences with the Plath family and with the show, along with TLC. And while some people that are fans of the show have been skeptical about whether or not Veronica and Olivia are telling the truth, just this morning, Veronica released a telephone call she had with a producer of the production company about her releasing information about the series before it airs, not denying any of the details in which she provided publicly. Now, fans of the show that are very staunch believers that the family does no wrong and doesn't lie and these women are scorned may find themselves a little bit confused now because, as it would appear, these phone calls seemingly prove that TLC is not denying at all aspects that Veronica has said publicly. Publicly, she has discussed that TLC has filmed and covered up atrocious behavior by the Plath family. The Plath family has done a pretty good job of smearing any of the women that have been married to their sons that come in and speak out against them, including Olivia Plath. And while some people believe and the Plaths and don't believe Olivia, she released video or audio of her and Ethan having arguments where Ethan was drunk and he was yelling at her, and they were fighting about gender issues and homosexuality. Now, some people, because of the topic that they were discussing, didn't feel like Ethan was doing anything wrong. And I think what might have been lost on people was how he was speaking to her and not allowing her an opportunity to have her own voice or her own opinion. And she was saying that he was putting a finger in her face and he had threatened to pew her friends for making her more liberal. And you can have conversations and arguments with people about topics that are controversial, but it can, when it gets to threats and pinning people in corners and yelling and spitting in people's faces, that's where it doesn't really matter what the conversation is about or what the fight is about. It's the actual behavior itself. And Olivia has also talked about wanting to be and get out of her contract. And her biggest issue is just how they are platforming people that have harmful beliefs. And she no longer believes the fundamentalist belief system. And she says that the network intentionally misleads the public and doesn't include their beliefs about sexuality, about women, about really anything.
Before he made pew threats about unaliving my friends. Sorry, I have to use social media TikTok language for that. Yeah, this was all before he made those threats. At this point, I was not as scared of him. I was just so weary because these 10-minute videos that you're seeing, this was all day long, every single day, months leading into years. At this point, like things had only escalated to backing me into corners, demanding answers, putting his finger in my face, spitting on me, being an alcoholic, getting drunk every single day, and just like being really aggressive and mean and like intimidating with his body language. But this was before, again, he made firearm-related threats. So
Olivia then released journal entries that she kept during the period that this was all escalating. There was apparently a fight when they were in Europe where he took hinges off of the door and wouldn't let her like have any space away from him. He continued to like pick fights with her. They were having arguments all the time. At one point, she says that he tells her that he will never have sex with her because she's a liberal. And then at another point, she says that he was in her face, slurring, spitting in her face. And then she ended up slapping him across the face because he was in her face and she couldn't get him out of her face. And then he called his sister and told him that his wife hit him. So she felt like she couldn't get away from him. And I don't know. So it sounds like there was an escalating issue happening between the two of them. And then this was later confirmed by Micah Plath's ex-girlfriend, Veronica, who shared on Reddit that she hoped that TLC would actually show a filmed clip where Ethan tells her that because she has friends that are gay, Veronica, that he wanted to slit her throat like the pig that she is. Veronica also alleged that the boys, Ethan, Micah, and Isaac, tried to set Lydia Plath's husband on fire when they first met him because they thought he was gay. So their point isn't that these people are homophobic, it's that the level of the homophobia that they have is very dangerous. And so Veronica this morning went ahead and posted our conversation with TLC about her speaking publicly. Both Olivia and Veronica are under contract with TLC and are presently being threatened with lawsuits for speaking up about what is happening behind the scenes, what they say is being covered up by TLC, and why they won't be silenced by them because of what they're experiencing. They both have said that the Platts are doing and the network are trying to make it look like they are the problem to protect their show and to protect their investment. And again, regardless if you hold different beliefs, it's when beliefs become to a level where physical harm is being threatened, when it's an issue, or when physical harm actually happens. Here's Veronica's clip with TLC's production or the production company.
But you just said it's not on the show because it didn't happen, but it did happen.
It's still information that hasn't been aired.
Do you know that NDAs are violated if abuse or crime happens? Both have happened.
But there's no abuse or crime that happened. You've also posted private text messages with TLC and with Eli.
Yeah.
That violates your confidentiality.
No, my text messages are not in the confidentiality clause. Nothing to do with the show, with how I've been treated.
No, but you're revealing information about the payment schedule, about what the episodes have been delivered. That's not public knowledge.
Yes, it is. I mean, it is because they're literally on the website, but yes.
What's on the website?
What episodes are out and the names and the titles, like.
Well, when it's premiering has been exhibited, but not some of the information in the text messages and what you're posting about the show.
Which information?
I'm just letting you know that the information about, I hope they air the part where he said, "I'm going to slit your throat like the pig you are." That's
That's not information about the show. It says, "I hope they do."
It's not they will.
It's not they will. It's I hope they do.
Okay, Veronica, I don't think this conversation is going to be productive. We wanted to get an understanding of what the security issue risk that had involvement with us and what was needed from us. I don't know what we can offer. I can discuss further with TLC. Part of this is us asking for you to please stop posting those posts.
I will not be doing that. No, I will be speaking up. Sorry.
Okay, that's at your election. But I just wanted to remind you of what you agreed to in your release.
Yeah, I didn't agree to abuse or anything, but thank you.
So in her statement on her Instagram, it says, "Want to hear something funny? There was never any abuse or crime, according to the network profiting off of it. Gaslighting the audience while covering for predators, classic TLC, Discovery, Warner Brothers, common law, and anyone with a conscience knows better." So they were apparently arguing with her not about the veracity of the claims, not that they were true or false, but rather that she was on Reddit and she was sharing private text messages with people from the show about her concerns about the show, about what was happening on the show, that she was releasing details about what was coming up on the series ahead of it being released. Not that what she was sharing was false, not that what she was sharing was inaccurate. She disputed that this person from TLC or whoever it is disputes the fact that any crime or abuse occurred. But then Veronica shared a story on her Instagram which says no crime or abuse happening, underage drinking, and it's a picture of Isaac drinking, underage drinking, and it's a picture of Lydia and her husband drinking, violent assault and battery, which is a fight that occurred between Isaac and Micah, underage drinking, and a DUI, which was the DUI that she got, Kim Plath got, which was never a part of the series. And then she shared a picture of a photograph of blood on the shirt that appears to have been Micah's shirt after the fight with Isaac. But what I thought was even weirder, though, is that the executive is saying, allegedly, that you said the part about how you hope they air the part where Ethan says that he will slit your throat like the pig you are. And instead of denying that he said that, she's apparently more upset that she said it ahead of the series launching or the episode airing. Now, these networks have extremely robust NDAs and releases that require the cast not disclose any details of what's coming in the upcoming season or details about what was filmed. And under the law, it's difficult for some NDAs to be enforced if the NDA is enforcing silence related to the possibility that abuse or a crime occurred. And so the loophole that Veronica is using is that you guys filmed crimes and crimes can't be bound by an NDA. And the crime she's claiming is this threat that Ethan will slit her throat. And it doesn't sound like they at all denied that he said it, only mad that she revealed it ahead of the season. And this is a network that has stood behind a lot of really abusive families. They have platformed families like the Duggars, whose son Joshua is in prison for CSAM, and the family covered up that CSAM, and they also covered up the child essay that Josh did to his sisters. They covered up their use of very severe corporal punishment and isolation of the children. The network has also platformed Jeffrey Paschal of, 90 Day Fiance, who is in prison. They have platformed a 90 Day Fiance named Mike, who was convicted of CSAM recently. They also have Toby Willis, who was convicted of child SA. So, and they'll stop at nothing to keep their shows on air. I mean, Jeffrey Paschal was facing 15 to 20 years in prison, and he was on the series until he was literally convicted and allowed to smear his victim. It's pretty horrible what this network will put on TV because it's quote unquote entertainment. But it's some of these shows where they literally sanitize it so much that they ignore everything. And they don't put out on their series the truth of who these people are because it would cancel the show. Similar claims about severe sort of threats and hate crimes have been lobbed against other members of other series on on TLC. And clearly, if anyone knows anything about reality television, is that people that sign contracts with these networks have no rights. They're not protected under the Screen Actors Guild. There's no union for reality television show members, and they have to hide behind these draconian non-disclosure agreements that prevent them from speaking out about what they experienced. And TLC has put out some teasers to try to give some idea of what's coming, and they showed a clip of a shirt that has blood on it, and they also showed a clip of Micah with his reconstructed nose after the fight. But again, that kind of assault getting a place on television, that's serious. I mean, that's a criminal assault. And so are terroristic threats in Florida and Georgia law. In fact, if they filmed anything of him making those threats against Veronica in the state of Florida, that's a second-degree felony to threaten to harm someone by slitting their throat. So, I don't know. TLC is such a mess, and I rarely, if anything, talk about the shows because most often than not, they're false, and you've all watched my coverage of Sister Wives to know that so much of this is false and made up for TV. But I also know enough of this network to know that when people come forward, they aren't taken seriously by fans and they're gaslit by networks to stay quiet. And whether you believe Veronica or not, or you believe Olivia or not, clearly something, in my opinion, based on what's being revealed, is happening behind the scenes that they're not showing. And if they're going to admit that he made that kind of threat to her because she has gay friends, that's a really serious threat. And it would appear that neither Veronica or Olivia want to be silenced. And even if they are, let's say, scorned ex-girlfriends or scorned ex-wives, does that constitute having to deal with people threatening you or, causing harm to you or, breaking into your house or stalking you? I don't know. I mean, I think they have a reason to speak out. And obviously, the Plaths have said nothing because everyone's bound by NDAs. And the Plaths are notorious for not involving police in anything that they do. So even if things do happen that are illegal, what's the likelihood that they would even go to police? Slim to none. So, but all of this helps the publicity for the new series in the new episodes because now people are going to be talking about this drama. And TLC has yet to say anything publicly about any of these allegations. And as Veronica's audio shows, all they care about is that she's breaking the confidentiality agreement, not that what she's saying isn't true. And then denying that any crimes or abuse occurred while also admitting that Ethan made a threat to her. So that's false because that threat under the law would be considered a crime if she were to go to police. And if the kids are being neglected and not getting proper education, that's abuse. And if, there was an assault between Isaac and Micah, that's violence, domestic violence. So anyway, they will say it makes for good TV, but for the people involved in it that don't want to be involved in it, it sounds like it's traumatic and that TLC is not showing the worst of it. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, besties.